The thing about the idea of not giving up is it's very hard to give up. Now, bear with me, okay? What I mean by that is you can feel like you give up, you know? You can feel like that's it. There's all this consciousness stuff. My life's gone to pieces since I've been interested in all this consciousness stuff. I'm sick of it. That's it. Forget it. That's part of it. You can say you're giving up, but it keeps going. Consciousness doesn't go backwards. It's like looking for your keys. You're about to leave. Where did I leave my keys? You can't find them. You search everywhere. So you're in a state of not knowing. And that state of not knowing is the same as being unconscious. And then you're looking around the house, you've looked everywhere, and then you suddenly go, oh, what about the biscuit tin? You look in the biscuit tin, and there they are. And then suddenly you're in a state of knowing. You cannot go backwards. You can't unknow where the keys are. And it's the same with consciousness. You can't become unconscious once you become conscious. So even though you spit the dummy and go, that's it, I'm sick of this consciousness stuff, I'm giving up. I'm giving up on my life. I'm giving up trying. I'm giving up on love. I'm giving up on whatever. You can't actually do that. Feels like you can, but you can't really. Because the spiritual life is relentless, in my experience. Consciousness is relentless. It doesn't stop. Often I feel like I'm sort of strapped to the front of a big diesel locomotive. It's just going. And sometimes it's going through walls and I'm strapped to the front of it. That's what it can feel like. But the thing is, it doesn't stop. I could be on the front of that train going, that's it, I give up. The train still goes through the next wall. It just keeps going because it's driven by the deeper parts of me and you. So there's that, okay? Like you can go, you can say what you like, and it's fine. And it's fine to say, and sometimes it's important to kind of say, forget it. I'm sick of this spiritual stuff. I'm having a rest. And you can have a rest. You can, go and just sit on the couch and watch telly and drink and do all the things, go and do some online shopping, get your favorite cake, all the things that we do. And that's fine. It's kind of, you have to do it if it comes up. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Because that's the thing, it's like your life is the big endeavor. It's the big project. It's the big, fantastic work of art. It's the big enterprise. It's the most all-consuming enterprise that you will ever be engaged in. Is the story of your life, the wonder of your life. It's amazing. And in that, you can have a rest. You can go, you know what, I'm exhausted. I need to recoup. I need to sit on the couch for a while. And sometimes you need to sit on the couch for a couple of years. Sometimes you need to sit on the couch for 10 years. That's all fine. It's all part of it. If that's what you need to do. It's not going to pass you by. Your spiritual life is not going to leave you behind. It's not like, oh, where's my consciousness now? And you have all the feelings, like it's like the water coming in and out on the beach. It's like the tide coming in and out on the beach. You can feel very clear. You're standing in clear water, or you're standing in clear. There's no water. I'm very clear. I see everything. It's all making so much sense. And then the tide comes in, you're lost. You're like, oh, I remembered it last week. Now I'm lost. Now I can't remember anything. What was I saying last week? That's all part of it. The main thing is, and your guiding light through it is being kind to yourself and giving yourself the, not a break, but giving yourself the kindness and compassion of, you're a valiant, very brave creature. And you are dealing with your unconsciousness consciously, which is not easy to do. You're getting into the sort of engine room of your life, and you're consciously pulling it apart, upgrading it, doing all that stuff. You're not just sitting in the bus looking out the window. You're driving it, you're fixing the engine, you're, making sure it doesn't break down, you're thinking about the route, where it's going, all this stuff. You're doing all that. And it's a lot. So if you get a bit tired, number one, you have to acknowledge that you're getting a bit tired. I need a bit of a rest. I need to just sit down for a little bit. I need a cup of tea. I need to have a nap. And that could be a nap from your spiritual life if you want. You might have all these beautiful rituals that you do. You meditate in the morning and you do yoga. And I've done this. I've had periods in my life when I've been fantastic. I've been the poster child for the spiritual life, meditation, yoga, the way I eat, listening to, books or reading books and writing, journaling, and all the beautiful things that we do. And then other times I haven't done any of it. I've just stayed up too late, watching trashy telly, completely sucked in, binge watching things on Netflix or some other streaming service, staying up too late, waking up the next morning late, kind of going, oh God, whatever. So, and back when I was drinking, because, I got enlightened in 96, I didn't stop drinking until 2011. So that's a lot of drinking. I mean, there were periods when I wasn't drinking in that, but, so I had periods where I was hungover, where I got too drunk, so it's all fine. It's all part of living life, and getting in there. Because in some ways, living in a cave, it's kind of easy. It's kind of easy to live in a cave or live in a monastery. That's kind of easy as well. What I mean by that is, I haven't done it, but there's a structure to support you. Oh, I'm a monk, or I'm a nun. Oh, okay, I'm a Buddhist nun, or I'm a Hindu nun, or I'm a Catholic nun, or I'm a whatever. There's a structure there. It's like, oh, okay. So at the dinner party of life, you can go, well, this is what I am. And people can go, oh, okay, nice. How is that being a monk? Or how is that being a nun? And, there's structures to support you financially. There's structures, well, this is what we do. This is what time we get up in the morning and we pray or if you're in a cave, it's like, okay, well, people know you're in the cave. I'm assuming there's a certain amount of PR for the people who live in caves, that the people in the village know, oh yeah, there's John, he lives in a cave. So we better bring him some food. I don't know how it works, but I imagine there's some kind of communication has to go there. Or maybe you just go and you are nourished by the mystery. Either way, it's like, okay, I'm in a cave. I don't have any distractions. I don't have to deal with anything. I don't have to deal with the internet. I don't have to deal with a spouse, siblings, parents, neighbors, people in the town. I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. And everybody knows I'm a hermit. I live in the cave. So that's kind of great. That's what I mean, that it's kind of easy. But if you don't do that, if you are a sort of undercover monk or nun, if you're an undercover spiritual person, you in the dinner party of life, what do? And then you just have to say, whatever you do on the surface, you can't, there's nothing to say. You can't say, oh, I'm an undercover monk. That doesn't work. I mean, like, what are you talking about? There's no such thing. It's like, but I'm really spiritual. It's like, yeah, well, what do you do for money? Well, what do you do for a living, It's like, oh, I meditate a lot. So there's no support except your own inner fortitude. And that's not easy. So it's to acknowledge that the very difficult task you've undertaken. And maybe you didn't consciously undertake it, but now you find yourself doing it. Now you find yourself in it. So you kind of have undertaken it. And to kind of go, to be kind to yourself, like as if you were a little child. You know, if you've ever brought a little child out for the day, you're kind of out of the corner of your eye. You're just keeping an eye on them to see if they get a bit tired, because you know they're not an adult, and you know that you've been like trooping along, going through the city, having a great time, but you know they've got little legs and they might they might be tired. You're sort of keeping an eye on them. And if they get a bit tired, you'll kind of, say, well, I carry you for a bit. And they'll go, yeah. And then you pick them up and you carry them for a bit. And they, maybe they'll fall asleep on you. It's to have that kind of kindness for yourself, to keep your eye out for yourself and go, how am I doing? How am I doing here? I mean, I'm doing great on the whole spiritual stuff. I'm meditating my face off. I'm in the mystery. It's great. I'm having all these insights. Brilliant. I'm attracting all this great stuff to me, but I'm kind of exhausted as well. And it's to know that you can't quit, and to know that it's fine to rest. In fact, it's important to rest. It's part of the deal. Resting, it's so important, because when you rest, you're resting in the mystery. You mightn't know that, you mightn't be conscious of it, but you're kind of resting in the mystery. And by that I mean you're trusting the mystery. The mystery inside and the mystery outside, that you'll be sustained. It would be like kind of, and you've probably seen people like this. I've heard people say like, oh, going to sleep, it's the biggest waste of time. I'm not productive. I want to, there's so many things I want to do, It's a bit like that when you won't rest in the mystery. It's like, no, I want to run the whole show myself. So it's very sweet and beautiful to acknowledge the mystery and acknowledge that you'll be supported by it, and to rest if you need to, and to be kind to yourself in that way.